Hi and welcome. This is Michigan's AutoTalk Podcast. I am producer Phil Tower. We gave Al Schwinkendorf and John Puick this episode off, and this is episode 57 of Michigan's AutoTalk. Every episode of our podcast is all about celebrating the automobile and everything automotive. We're also about helping and supporting you, car and truck owners from across our great state of Michigan, birthplace of everything automotive. You can catch us, by the way, this podcast. We are all over the place. We're on iHeartRadio, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and also on your Amazon Alexa smart speaker. I'm really excited. It's been a while since we've been able to catch up with the folks at Hagerty. Hagerty.com/media is where you will find all the great content. Not only are they an insurance company for classic cars, but they are just a great source for car lovers across the world. And every time I can talk about cars and tie it in with the cool stuff that Hagerty gets to, talk about and cover, even their drivers club has probably, I think, for the money, the best car magazine out there. Now that I've completely buttered up Kyle Smith, our guest for this episode, I'm going to bring him on. Kyle is one of the editors for Hagerty's digital content. Did I get that right, Kyle? Is that pretty much it?
Yes, that is exactly my title, and thanks for having me on.
Because I know you guys have you're very welcome. You guys have a print magazine, and I'm a member of the Hagerty Drivers Club, for full disclosure, as if it really matters. I'm a Hagerty customer. I've insured my classic. I have 65 Ford Galaxy 500 convertible, and it's been insured for a long time through Hagerty. So I'm a very happy Hagerty customer. By the way, we're not getting a penny from Hagerty for this podcast, so there's no tit for tat, there's no quid pro quo here. I just love this article that Kyle had written, and I found this online: 6 affordable ways to dress up your project car. Now, project cars can mean a lot of different things, Kyle. So for the sake of that, and you can find this article at Hagerty.com, Hagerty with 1G, HAGERTY.com/media.
That's right.
So Kyle Smith, a project car you define as anything that's a car in progress of being that perfect, or at least almost good enough to drive anywhere car. Is that fair enough to say?
I'd say that's about right. And really the long-standing joke about project cars is that they're never done. And
true.
It's factually true. That's just what it is. And so really, if you've done any amount of work on your car, it probably falls in as a project car. And that's fine. It's not necessarily a bad term or anything in that regard. But if you work on your car, you probably have some type of project that you would like to do to it.
You've really highlighted 6 areas, which I think some of them are known to people. Some of them maybe not so much. I've seen the first one, engine turning. I've seen this at a number of shows. I had no idea what it was, and I'm a car guy, and I still had no idea what engine turning was. This is kind of that fancy after effect you do to metal. It's a machined effect, right, Kyle?
Yes, it is a machined effect, and it's something that has been going on for over 100 years at this point. This is a very old method of dressing up what would normally be a standard flat panel. And it's actually fairly easy to do it yourself at home using a drill or a drill press, any type of rotary tool with a little bit of Scotch-Brite and some valve grinding compound. You can create this effect on just about any ferrous surface. So if you've got cast iron, aluminum really does it best. But you can do this at home. It just takes a lot of time. I got to warn you on that one. It is a big time commitment.
And a machine shop could probably do this a lot quicker, and maybe for not as much money. If you were able to remove the panel of metal from the engine compartment or wherever it is, they could do this, certainly a lot faster. But yes, you can.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. You can do it from home. Pinstriping is another one. Pinstriping and kind of customizing, putting the name on there, or kind of like people put, names on boats. You see that on occasion. Pinstriping, kind of not so much, but, that was an interesting idea you threw on there in terms of a way to dress up a car. Are you a fan of pinstriping?
I am. It's not anything that I've ever done to any of my own cars. But at the same time, I look at it and it's a nice little touch. And my favorite thing about pinstriping is really that it can be removable. A lot of people think it's a permanent process because you are putting paint on paint. But oftentimes, if you discuss with your pinstriper, if you make sure you get the right materials, it's something that can be polished off if and when you maybe go to sell a car, if you decide you don't like it a year or two down the road. It is something that's reversible. And so it's very nice. It looks great. And then it's non-permanent. And so that's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, you know, you can do it yourself. There are a lot of shops that will do this for you and do it right. And I'm the kind of guy who could kind of get it right, but I would pay somebody to do this. Just like, you know, wrapping a car, you want to pay the pros to do it.
Oh, yeah. There's so much to the symmetry of it and having a really good touch and a really steady hand that, yeah, you can work on it. If you want to learn it, it's a really fun thing to learn. But I know for me, it would take years to get to the point of doing something that looks even remotely acceptable in my eyes, and the time commitment there, I just don't have it. So it really depends on how artistic you are and what you want to learn.
Kyle Smith's with us on Michigan's AutoTalk Podcast. He is one of the digital editors for Hagerty.com, HAGERTY.com/media. You can find all of their great digital content, their videos, terrific number of articles on just about any topic related to your car, and a discussion area with forums, brand groups. So, you know, you can start showing off your car or what have you. By the way, for full disclosure, you drive, is this Corvair in this article yours?
It is, yes. That 1965 Corvair featured in the article is mine, and I've owned that. I bought it in 2017, so it's coming up on 5 years now.
That is a beautiful car. I love the wheels. I just love the white. I have my 65 Galaxy, which is a little longer than your Corvair, my friend.
Of course.
It's a boat. It's a boat. My 65 Galaxy is Wimbledon white, so it's a little bit different than your Chevy white. It looks like it's an original Chevrolet factory color. But that's
it's very close. It would have been ermine white, was the Chevrolet color for 65. And this is a repaint at some point in its history, and it's not quite right. And it would normally be actually a little bit of a clearer white than the Wimbledon white of your Galaxy, which is almost like a refrigerator, but has a little bit of yellow to it. The ermine white is a lot closer to a refrigerator white.
Got it. It's a beautiful looking car. And my car I bought from the original owner in 1997. He had,
nice.
I mean, had been a Colorado car, so it didn't have Michigan cancer, you know, with the salt on the roads. And I've done very little to it other than rebuild the engine. One of the other recommendations you have for 6 affordable ways, and affordable is underlined here, to dress up your project car. And that is just a good cleaning, whether you have it detailed or you just, you know, it's been a while since you vacuumed it out or looked under the seats, just to take care of it that way. Even, you know what I did with my car 2 years ago, Kyle? I replaced the carpet, and that was really inexpensive. And man, what an upgrade that was.
It's amazing, isn't it? That's absolutely. I redid the interior on my Corvair myself and redid the seat covers and the carpet. And then I actually have door panels that I haven't installed yet. But the carpet, even just a deep clean on older aging carpet is a huge change to dress up a car. But new carpet and pre-molded carpet is not that expensive. It honestly shocked me, and I'm sure it might have shocked you. When I did it, $100, $150 got me new carpet, and it looks fantastic, and it fits well, and it's not difficult to install. It's just a great bang for the buck.
Yeah, that's a great point. Kyle Smith wrote the article on Hagerty.com, which is 6 affordable ways to dress up your project car. This next one, putting new wheels on. If you want to look at the textbook example of how cool just a standard car can look, Kyle's Corvair it's badass with these wheels. Your caption says, a set of wheels took my Corvair from mid-century economy car to something far sportier. That is absolutely true. I don't know what brand wheels those are, but they're beautiful. They don't look flashy. They just look really great. They fit the lines of the car well, and it almost looks like a fancy European import, with those wheels on it. And
absolutely.
It's your line here, which I totally agree with. Changing wheels on your car might be the fastest way to alter the personality of your car, which, if you think about it, it's really true. And, you got to take some time to think about it because there are a gazillion styles of wheel. Did you have a hard time picking wheels out for your car?
I did not. I actually saw this wheel, and I had this wheel picked out before I bought the car, which is the backwards way of doing everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But in selecting a wheel, you're right. There is a lot of options out there, and so many people are happy to post photos of different setups that they have and different measurements and different styles. And just go deep dive into the internet and look at anything anyone has ever put on there and decide if a style you might like or a direction to go. And then you can research deeper and deeper into options in that style. The wheels I've got on my Corvair are an ET3 wheel, and they are LT3. The sizing was actually a little peculiar because not a lot of people put 17-inch wheels on a Corvair. It's an awful big wheel for this particular car. And so I had to do a little bit of math. I had to do some measuring, but that math and measuring is not nearly as hard as you expect. A lot of people are willing to help you out with that, including the people that make wheels. So if you're interested in a wheel that maybe hasn't gone on your car before and no one has experience with, reach out to the wheel manufacturer. They will help you in how to measure for it and make sure you get your fitment right, because that's so important to make sure that the wheel fits.
It's a great point. Another way to upgrade your car, dress up your project car or even your own classic without, and this is something I'm very interested in because my classic that I've had for 25 years could certainly use a dress up in the engine compartment, especially the headers. You have a picture of a set of your headers from your Corvair before and after, which are just striking with ceramic coating. It's called Cerakote. I had heard about that before. Not too expensive. And the cool thing about this, which you pointed out, is even those very high temp paints are eventually going to burn off. They're eventually going to wear off. There's nothing that's impervious to the heat of an engine, especially when it's running and it gets really hot. So this Cerakote is fantastic, and it is really cool looking, but it's very durable, you said as well, too.
It is extremely durable. It is a ceramic coating over top of your parts. It's very thin. It's very durable. I use it on motorcycle engines as well, especially like off-road racing motorcycles that I do over in some of my spare time on the side. And I have yet to rub a boot through ceramic coating, whereas paint usually will last maybe a season. And this ceramic coating helps out against corrosion resistance. So your parts not only look good, they stay looking good. There's 120 off-the-shelf colors that any Cerakote installer can do. You can also do it at home yourself, and you don't require a curing oven, or you can use an old oven to cure your parts off if you need to. They also have an air cure process that works for high heat situations. So you can do it at home if you have a compressor. You can send it off to an installer. There's 120 off-the-shelf colors. There's an infinite amount that you can mix yourself or have your installer mix up. So you can match factory colors. This is something that Davin and our Redline Rebuild team actually do pretty regularly. If they want something to look correct under the hood of a car, they'll find a correct sample and they will match a Cerakote color to what the car would have been originally. So for an intake manifold or exhaust manifold finish, the gray of a particular exhaust manifold, you can get that color and the protection and the high heat capability all in one nice, tidy package. And it's pretty affordable in the grand scheme of things, considering it's going to last basically forever.
Okay, real quickly, because I don't want to run out of time here, and we'll talk about the last item to upgrade your project car. But Cerakoting, you and I are both in Michigan, I believe. Did you find somebody in your area, or did you have it done out of state? How did you know who to pick for Cerakoting?
I did find someone in my area, and there's applicators nationwide. Spencer Sideout at West Michigan, Cerakote, and Laser in Grand Rapids, Michigan, is the one who did the work for me. Did a fantastic job. I highly recommend them. You can find them at westmichigancerakote.com. Great pricing, wonderful turnaround time. They can get parts in and out, typically right around 2 weeks. That fluctuates a little bit, seasonality, of course, and whatnot. But a great, perfect thing to do in the middle of winter. Because we do have those long Michigan winters, to pull 2 parts off right around Christmas, have them back on before the driving season without any issue.
Yeah, they are, and we're here in Grand Rapids as well. That's where we produce the AutoTalk podcast, so I'm glad to know that. Finally, in terms of the 6 affordable ways to dress up your project car with Kyle Smith from Hagerty.com, this one is not so surprising. I'm seeing this on more and more classics. I like what you did. This is a vinyl wrap. You did it on your hood and your trunk. This is really interesting, and you did this on your own?
I did. And the nice thing about vinyl wrap is it's extremely affordable for the visual impact that you get from the finished product.
Yeah.
So like you said, I did both the hood and the deck lid of the Corvair. I wanted to get kind of a Trans Am racer look, and I purchased a hood off a junkyard car thinking I was going to paint it and I was going to swap the hood out so I could keep the original hood matching white. Started looking at things and decided, this is really a lot more work than I really want to do. And so started looking into vinyl wrap, and it was about $60 of material. Did it myself in an afternoon. And I will warn you, you can watch all the videos on the internet you want. You can study the process, but you will probably screw it up on the first go.
Yeah.
I know I did. It's a touch. It's a little bit of a complicated process. And so buy enough product to do it twice, and you'll be in a great shape. But it took me an afternoon, about $60 of material, radically transformed the car.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It looks really great, and I would mess it up at least once or twice. As you say in your article here at Hagerty.com/media, it's very easy to get overconfident and end up with anything that looks like a professional wrap job. So great stuff. Yeah. Kyle, I really appreciate this article. It's really simple, but it's really a great thing to think about, especially if people, like you said, a project car, you're never done, dealing with stuff on it. But a lot of these are really applicable and terrific. We'll put the link up in our AutoCast Michigan podcast, AutoTalk Podcast page for a podcast, and we'll also throw up a link to West Michigan Cerakote and Laser as well too, since they're right here in our own backyard, and we'll give them a shout out as well too. Kyle Smith, I really appreciated our time. As I told you before we turned on our microphones and started this podcast today, I'm a huge fan of what you guys do. Thank you for your great content, and people can check you out online. You don't have to be a Hagerty customer, Hagerty.com, to check out all the cool stuff you guys have online, right?
That is true. Head right to Hagerty.com/media, and you can see everything we do. Wonderful stories every day, big stories. And then, of course, you can upgrade and get the magazine, the Drivers Club membership. But a lot of the main stories from the magazine will hit the website eventually. So you get to be a first reader if you're a Drivers Club member.
Kyle Smith has been with us on this episode of Michigan's AutoTalk Podcast. You can learn more at Hagerty.com/media. That'll do it for episode 57. You can find us on Michigan's AutoTalk Facebook page at facebook.com/Michigan's AutoTalk, and wherever you find your favorite podcast. Thanks for listening. I'm Phil Tower. We'll catch you again real soon.